Hey guys, it's xNira with the second week of Arena Assault. It's another Deathless win streak. And I think I placed like rank 300, but this was done I think on like Monday or Tuesday. So at that point not that many people had completed streaks. So it's highly likely that it'll decay, and I'll post in the comments below what rank I actually get when I know. So here's this first battle. Just kind of want to quickly talk about the specials that I took. So I took the Nagas tier, which gives like a fury basically, and gives you your special for 2 random units that have yet to act. I took boots, which give you an extra movement, and I took the Dancer's Veil. So I think the Dancer's Veil is like pretty much like all-purpose, like just solid thing to take. But I think the other 2 items you take can be kind of situational because there's, you know, most of them are pretty good. The only one that's not good, I think, is like, it's called like Lightning Charm, I think, where it just does 20 damage to allies, and not super useful because it puts a lot of units in vantage range, which makes them harder to kill. I don't know if it charges their specials, but if it does, then obviously that sucks too. So I would recommend pretty much anything but that. So the first couple battles have no dancer. So the one I just did doesn't have a dancer, and this next one coming up doesn't have a dancer, and it just means that, oh no, I lied, I'm sorry, this one does have a dancer. But later on, there's another one, I think. Maybe not, never mind. But the first one didn't have a dancer, and it made it kind of fairly easy because, like, you know, I had a dancer, and the enemy doesn't, and it's just really easy to know, like, exactly where they're going to be, and exactly, like, there's really no surprises. Like, you can kind of predict, like, all the possibilities of where they're going to be with the preview feature, so, it's pretty easy. Don't have to use an item there. Yeah, this team uses a Saizo with Poison Dagger Saizo, Poison Dagger Swiftbearer Saizo, so that's kind of interesting. I think I don't check, but looking back on his stats now, I'm pretty sure he's like maybe merged like +4 or 5 or something like that. Because he's definitely interesting. And yeah, this map, I think this map, when you get infantry units on this map, it feels kind of easy. Now, I could have repositioned Hector the other way and then had him pivot over Lyn, but I was stupid and just didn't do that. I could have taken Gaius out first turn, but whatever. He's going to kill both Gaius and Saizo this turn, I believe, so that's a little fun. You know. Because you can kind of counterpick every team except for the first team you fight, the battles are very kind of dependent on, like, the battles aren't dependent on necessarily your strategy, but more like your ability to choose a good team. And so for this one, I decided to take like Hector, because I knew he was going to kill, with this encounter, I knew he was going to kill the 2 range units, and then Effie, which is going to kill Ryoma, and could kill Zura. And then Baruka I took because because like obviously the downside of the army units is that they can't move. Baruka has flying and also reposition, so she can kind of help them, and then I take an extra healer just to have. Now this match, it's worth noting that Corrin has a Sea Life Tome instead of like a Ground Blade, which is kind of interesting. And we have, yeah, like doesn't have Sea Life Tome, Triangle Add Up is kind of like not a super strong, like, threatening Corrin build, so she's not super scary. One thing that, like, if you're struggling with Arena Assault, I would highly recommend, like, just investing in a bunch of green units, because, like, you just need a green unit after green unit to deal with the onslaught of blue units. I face this team twice, so I get the 3 blue units and Lucina twice, so in particular, like, I need a bunch of green units, but Julia is just really solid, and I'm about to, I think after this next turn, I think turn 2 or something like that, I make a mistake here, so firstly I misclick, which is kind of annoying because I meant to kill Corrin from the leftmost column, but I think she ends up right in front of Lucina, which is dumb, but then I could just reposition her with Donald. But instead, like, I kind of use this very, like, convoluted method of, like, getting her to safety with the Dancer's Veil. So I kind of wasted here, but it's just it's nice. I guess for some reason I wanted, like, Donald's got Swordbreaker, so he definitely would have killed Lucina anyways, but, whatever. So that, like, the other thing I wanted to say about that battle was that obviously I only take 3 units there because, like, I'm kind of trying to save units, but if you find yourself, like, only needing 3 offensive units, just take a healer. Like, I didn't take a healer there, but I think it would have been smarter if I had, or if I just taken, like, some silly 4-star unit with, like, a movement ability, because that kind of utility is really nice. But I don't do it. It works out anyways, but, yeah. So, up next, we've got, another battle. I keep, like, going back and forth between choosing teams. Again, like, because Rain Assault is really just, like, what units do you have available, and, counterpicking the enemy, and kind of executing and not making mistakes. So, like, really just, like, having a good array of units, and obviously, like, playing payers have a huge advantage because they just have more units, but, I don't know, I've been, like, recently experimenting with merged 4-star units, and I've been really pleased with that. So, like, my bonus unit for this week is a +9 Sabaki, 4-star Sabaki, who's just been, like, really awesome. Where is this sea? Xander's so funny. Where is this sea? Sophia has, Green Tomebreaker, so even though she's slow as hell, she still is going to kill Julia, which is really nice because, yeah. I'll try. Let's go. I also could have drawn. Oh wait, no. I feel like I could have done something marginally more efficient this turn, but I don't. So, oh well, doesn't matter. It takes another turn. But doesn't super matter. The teams that I think for Arena Assault are kind of challenging are the ones of, like, the kind of the movement emblem teams, because, like, you really just get run down. And again, not having enough green units can also just really run you down. This map is really nice. Like, this map I think is pretty easy for Arena Assault because, like, not only are you counterpicking every unit, like, they already come, like, kind of pre-divided for you. And they kind of come in, like, a wave, because if you either get, like, 2 weak kind of sections for units that you specifically counterpicked, or you get, like, a wave of 1 unit that you can deal with, and then the next wave comes and you can deal with them too as well. So it's fairly easy, I think. Again, this is a repeat team, actually. Yeah, this is the same guy as, like, match 3 or something like that, with the, Wings of Mercy, QP, Reinhardt, which is just unbelievably gimmicky. Like, it's really just out there to kind of, like, mess you up and make you lose unit and surrender, which is, like, kind of not cool. I think I put Spring Xander here, yeah. And then he doesn't really do anything because, like, Lucina ends up running away from him, so what can you do? I should have just put him 1 tile further to the right and would have taken care of Lucina, but I don't do that. Having green mages, again, is, like, a godsend because she can just tank. She can deal with Corrin on enemy turn right there, which is just really useful. And then Camilla puts in work. Oh, this is where I start to run away, because, obviously. Also, it's just encounter Lucina, I forgot about that. Also, Swordbreaker. Just encounter Swordbreaker, which is kind of interesting. It's like, it feels very, like, I mean, you could put distant counter on anything and it's nice. But, It's an interesting build. It's definitely an interesting team, but the Sea Life Corrin, I think, is, like, really kind of hurting that team. But I get it. It's probably just from, like, the bonus unit from last week. So, here we are, second to last battle. We've still got 2 special items left to use. The special items, like, again, like I was saying earlier, like, success in Arena Assault to me really seems from like having a diverse cast of characters and also having a diverse cast of green characters, especially like high res green mages or just green units. And so the specials are there to kind of like help you kind of like there's like kind of like a oopsies kind of like the Milo's turn wheel kind of thing. They're there to get you out of a like kind of a bad situation, and so I've still got 2, which is really nice because like going into the last 2 battles, I always like kind of like psych myself out. I'm like, oh my god, this is the last 2 battles, like I have to get these right, and so I put like undue pressure on myself and I kind of stress out. So like if you're doing these and you do that, like try and calm down when you kind of near the end. But I've got the boots, which are really cool. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing maybe some armor march boots units, like armor 3 move units. That'll be kind of amusing. And then I've also got the Naga's tier. I can't remember if I talked about why I chose the Naga's tier over the Special Blade, because I think the Special Blade is kind of cool, is good too, but Naga's tier I think has like a slightly more utility, because usually you're only like, when you're using those items, you really only need it on one unit. You only need like one unit to use their special to finish off some unit. It's not like you need like, in that moment, you need all 4 units to use their special on that turn. It's just usually you're kind of singling out 1 unit, and there's a bonus of getting the other 3 units as well. And so for this, the Naga's tier, because it chooses 2 random units that still have yet to act, you can just preemptively end 2 units' turns and then use it, and it will save you in that way. And so it's slightly more effective because it gives the special and then also the stat buff. So if you're using these items in a way that you only need it on one item, like on 1 unit, then the Naga's tier is more useful. If that makes sense. So hopefully that makes sense. And hopefully I also didn't explain that at the beginning of the video. I think I was going to, and then like just kind of started talking about the first battle. So here is a moment where I use the boots, and I think it's cool, like having those 3 move infantry mages.
What next?
Because this map is like so cluttered that your units kind of step on each other's toes as far as positioning, and so like having the boots, being able to kind of go all the way down to get Ike, and Lilina can go all the way down to deal with Elise. I also could have danced Lind here and Ranger Celica, and the match would have taken 1 turn less, but we're out of time, so it doesn't really matter. But there's the boots use, and here we go, on to the last battle. Yeah, I feel like I spend more time choosing the units than I do actually playing the matches, because the counter is just like, getting the right team is just like 80% of the battle. And at this point I'm kind of worried, because like I don't really have that many high-res green mages to deal with Cecilia, and so I'm kind of like freaking out, because like, so Tharja's got green Tonebreaker, so I'm thinking I can take Tharja, but she only has 17 res, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take some units to buff up her res so that she can tank the Cecilia. And then I was like thinking about doing some Horse Emblem. I was thinking about getting Xander to tank her with the least Fortify buff, but I don't. Xander, like in hindsight, probably would have been fine, but yeah, just going back and forth. Who do I want to take to deal with the Cecilia? Then I'm going back to Tharja. She is fairly slow, so I probably could have just put in Lilina or something like that and given her like a speed buff, and she would have been fine. But I think my Lilina only has 25 or 26 res with the Life and Death, so like, also I think I used her earlier, so I only have Celica. And Celica's, I can't remember how buffed she gets at the speed, but I end up going with the Rally Resistance and Spur Res for mana. But as you'll see in a moment.
Yes.
Onward.
I
misclick, and it's super sad, and so all of that planning kind of goes down the drain.
Let's go.
But luckily Reinhardt kind of gets tied up over there, and I managed to take her out, which is lovely. And now I get to deal with this Reinhardt.
right.
Orders.
Let's go.
Understood.
Also, sad day that my Reinhardt can't kill his Reinhardt. But I do got that
Task.
Rider's Bane.
All right.
But the problem with the Rider's Bane is, of course, Matilda only's got 32 or something like that. Let me click on her again. I don't remember. Oh, wait, no, it's right there. She's only got 32 speed, and Azura has 38, so she will get doubled. And Azura's going to proc Moonbow, and so I don't obviously want her to die on the last match. That would be super sad. And so this is where the Nagas tier kind of comes in handy, because although Matilda doesn't have a special, giving her that +3 speed will save her from Azura. Come on, click. I don't know what I'm waiting for. There we go. Wait, no, I didn't use it. Come on, me. I don't know why, like, I'm trying to preserve the item, because obviously it's the last match, so you might as well just use it, but, yeah. Because the other problem is that I couldn't drop, like, I couldn't reposition Anna in such a way to get her to kill Azura.
Yes.
And Azura also won't live. So there I canceled the other 2 turns so that it guarantees goes to Matilda, even though, like, I only need to cancel one of their turns, but here she's buffed, so she doesn't get outsped and lives to fight another day, and Reinhardt swoops in for the last kill. And that's it. So thanks for watching. And yeah, hope this was interesting.